What's good, YouTube? Hope y'all doing well. In this video, I'm going to be showing y'all the easiest and probably the most effective way that you can flip old vintage soul samples into a modern trap beat. I'm going to be showing y'all pretty much the whole process from start to finish, and I don't think I need to say too much else, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so I started with this website, which is one of my favorite sites to get samples on, which is Samplet. And so I was scrolling through it, and I got to this song called Spend the Nights With Me by Mary Wells. And I really like this chorus, so I'm gonna just play it for y'all, and then we'll drop it into FL Studio. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drag the audio into FL Studio here. And so the first thing that I wanna do is trim off this little red part right here. You could use this little trim option right here, but I just find it easier to just trim it off manually sometimes. So now we have it here. The first thing that we need to figure out is the tempo. I'll show y'all a couple different ways on how to do that. The easiest way is just going to Samplet here, and it usually tells you. Sometimes it's a little bit off. So this is saying it's 122. So let's go ahead and set the project tempo to that and just see how close it is. Right now it looks like it's a little bit off, not by too much though. So what I'm gonna do is slice out where the drums start right here and move this to the nearest start of a 4-bar loop. So I'll go to 17 and I'll play it with a metronome and we'll see how it sounds. So with the metronome, it sounds a little bit too fast at 122, but it's pretty close. The second option that I can think of is going to a website like TuneBat and going to the key and BPM finder and then just dropping the file in here, and that'll probably give you an idea of what it is. The third, which I think is the most reliable, especially if you can kind of pick up a tempo, is going up to your tempo options here, right-clicking on it, and hit tap. What you want to do is just use your mouse or any one of the keys on your keyboard that corresponds to MIDI in FL Studio. The ones that I like to use are like the comma or the M key, and then you just tap it in once you hit play. So I'm gonna hit play and then just start tapping the key like I was tapping a metronome. So with the tapping method, we find that the tempo is actually closer to about 119 or 120. And if we look at the transients, this hits a lot closer to 120, especially the further along that we go here. So if I put on the metronome, you can hear that the timing is going to sound a little bit better than it did the first time. It's still not perfect, but that'll get fixed as we go through this. So now the next thing that I want to do is find that chorus, which I think was around the minute 20 mark. So something around here. So right here, that's the start of our chorus there. So now that we've spotted it, what I'm going to do is make my first cut at the start. So right about here. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and move that over here and then hold Alt and click to move it. And then now what I want to do is find the entire clip and then cut the end. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play it again. So I want to take the slice tool here and cut it right on this transient right before it repeats the chorus. So I cut it right there. And I'm gonna move this up and mute it. To mute a clip, double click and then hold down the click when you click the second time and then drag it over it. So 1, 2, and then drag it. So now we have our 8 measure clip, but it's not quite exactly 8 measures. So what I want to do now is go to this little thing right here to stretch the audio instead of cutting it. And what I'm going to do is hold Alt once again and then click and drag it so it fits to the 8 measures. And so we can see the transients are a little bit off, but honestly that's not going to matter much by the time we get to our final beat and final mix. So now once we have this right here, we have it time synced to 120 beats per minute. So like I said, it's not absolutely perfect, but it's gonna be enough to get the job done here. Now what I wanna do is get the stems for each one. So I think FL22 and onwards has the stem separator. So what you wanna do is left click on the top left of your audio clip and go to extract stems from sample. For this chop here, I want all the stems, so I'm just gonna have these all selected and then hit extract. So now that we got all of our stems here, I'm going to go to the channel rack and select all these by holding right click and dragging. Going to the mixer tracks here, hit Control Shift L, and that way each of these stems have their own mixer track. I just wanted to get that set up for effects and all that, and it's just easier to level each one individually in the mixer. We've already got all of these time stretched because we stretched this to 4 measures. If not, what you want to do is, if your sample already fit this right here, what you want to do is change your mode to stretch and then change it back to resample, and do that for all the stems. And then I'm going to turn on the metronome once again, and I'm just going to increase the tempo until I get to a pitch and or tempo that I like. So basically we're going to be pitching this up while also making it faster. Alright, so I'm going to put this up to 156 beats per minute here, and I'm going to go to the instruments. So more than likely this is not exactly pitched up by a certain number of half steps, which is going to cause problems when it comes to adding bass sounds like the 808. So what I want to do is switch this back and forth between stretch and resample to figure out what the closest half step increase is. So basically I'm trying to pitch it up to an exact key, not like an in-between where it is right now. So I'm going to switch it to stretch and just keep moving this pitch knob up until I get to something that sounds similar to that. And I'm just going to switch back and forth between the two. Sounds pretty close right there at plus 400. So I'm going to right click on this and hit copy or C, and I'm going to go to all the other tracks and paste that onto the pitch knob so we get all of these at the same pitch. And so now all of them put together. For now, I'm going to mute the drums and the bass. And what I want to do is add a little bit of effects to these instruments just to make it sound a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to go to the instruments mixer track and I'm going to grab some effectrix, and I'm probably going to put this on the 1/8 setting, and I'm just going to add some effects just to make it sound a little bit different, add some variation to it, because we're going to have the sample repeating over and over again for the whole beat. Alright, so I'm just gonna have these couple effects down here, just the phaser on these last 4 beats before the end, and then just have that little reverse and reverb. And then I do want to reduce the highs a little bit on these instruments. Something like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the vocals. I'm gonna put on some effectrix. I think the only thing I'm gonna add though is probably like chorus or reverb or something along those lines. Let's see what it sounds like with the reverb. Yeah, alternatively, you could just use like a normal reverb. I just wanted to use the effectrix one for some reason. And then we'll open up an EQ and roll off these lows. Same thing with the highs with the instruments, just shelf these off. And I also want to turn the vocals down a little bit. Alright, so I think we're ready to start throwing some drums onto this. So I'm gonna drop a pattern clip into the playlist here, and let's just grab some drum sounds. Grab this little clap right here, and let's grab a hi-hat while we're at it too. By the way, those are both from the resonance kit, if y'all interested. Grab a kick and a snare. So we'll go ahead and grab that open hat and just get a basic spins 808 for now. Also, envelope that 808, make sure they don't bleed into each other. Alright, so let's keep it basic for now. We'll throw down a clap on the third beat or the middle of each measure here, and just go ahead and copy it for the full pattern. And for my hi-hats, I'm going to do fill each 4 steps, and then hit Control C to copy, Control V to paste it, move it in the middle here, and then I'm gonna hold Alt and scroll down so we can get these hi-hats to alternate a little bit in velocity. I'm gonna go through and adjust these a little bit manually just so we can get some more bounce. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is delete all these and just copy this over for the full 8. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some lower notes, because why not? And we'll just copy these over like the other ones before. I'll just change the pitch a little bit, just so that they're slightly different. Now I want to go ahead and put in my kick pattern. Alright, let's go ahead and put down our snares now. And the open hat. Now let's move on to our 808. Alright, so now let's add a little bounce to these 808s. I think for now, I'm probably just gonna keep this as is. And so I'm going to unmute these. I'm gonna go ahead and take all these drum sounds and route them to the mixer track. And I'll just go ahead and level out the beat real quick. So now what I want to do is go ahead and just kind of figure out my intro and general arrangement for this. I think for the intro, I want all the elements in here. but I do want the bass to be a lot quieter. And I do want the drums to be muffled a little bit, so I'm gonna go to the drum track here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just roll out the lows and highs here. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm not really rocking with the bass. We'll just keep it like this. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead, go to the master here, and I'm gonna put on an EQ. And with this, I'm gonna just go to one of these cut presets. And we're gonna make like an underwater effect, if you wanna call it that. Basically what we're gonna do is just cut off the highs here, and then we're going to just fade out this cut. And so now I'm gonna go to this right here, the parameter that controls how high this goes. Right click on it and go to create automation clip, and I'm gonna move this down here. And all I'm gonna do is just move this thing on the right all the way up, and then we can just control how quickly it fades in. So I'm gonna put this down to something like this. And then the drums come in. I don't really want the vocals to come in because that's just gonna be too much at once. So I'm gonna just have the instruments run for probably like majority of the hook and the verse, and I'll bring it back on the last part of the verse, and then we'll go back into like a break right here, and then probably just repeat the cycle. So for the break, I think I'll leave the 808, and then for these right here, the only modifications I'll make is probably take out the snare, and I'll probably leave everything else the same. And I'll probably just cut out all the drum sounds right there. And once we got that, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and just repeat the cycle and just keep doing that until I get to a point where I think the beat is long enough. So about 2 minutes here. I'll just go ahead and repeat this cycle, and then just bring the vocals back, fade it out on the master. Now that I got the arrangement pretty much done, all I want to do is just go ahead and throw in a transition sound. And what I'm going to do is go to my resonance kit, go to the risers, and grab this riser crash. Just put it on these parts where the drums come back in. I think I'm gonna just throw down my tag, and that's pretty much gonna be it. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for this one. I appreciate y'all for watching all the way through. Hopefully y'all found that pretty helpful and you're able to learn something from it. And if not, hope y'all just enjoyed the cook up. Hope y'all have some fun cooking up, and I'll see you on the next video.